Welcome to Pooch Pooch. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It is afternoon here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a short video on flavoring a 5-gallon batch of kombucha. I just pulled this out of our 14-gallon fermenter. We have got a white tea Raw Brewing Company's combination. This is our first experiment with a white tea. Playing around with that, we're looking for like a little bit less of a intense flavor than we've kind of experimented with yerba mate and just ribose. So this is our first kind of example with white tea. So we're gonna do a, not a blueberry vanilla. We're gonna do a vanilla lavender experiment today. We're just gonna use dried lavender flowers and some fresh Madagascar vanilla beans. So we got these from Costco, not a sponsored video. Just they seem to have a very good selection. And then you can.
But if you want to sponsor us, we'll take the money.
Exactly, like Costco. If you're watching, go for it. Lavender, I ended up getting at our local homebrew store. You can find a lot of these types of ingredients at your local homebrew store, mainly because a lot of these end up going into beer also. So there's a kind of nice balance between that. So what I'm going to show you, I personally just watched a video of how to cut vanilla beans. So if I do it incorrectly, mention it in the comments, but I'm going to give it a shot to figure out how to do this myself. I watched a Michelin star chef or whatnot do this. I just recently sharpened our knife, and I was going to show it, but I think my wife took my little sharpening away because it was in the shot. I use this Chef's Choice sharpener just for basic. This is not a sponsored video. I've just happened to use this and it works really well. My brother has a $5,000 knife sharpening set, but I don't have that currently, so this is what we use for right now. So what we're going to do is we take, I'm going to start at this side. You take your nice sharpened knife, and you poke down and you split the vanilla bean like this. And the knife might not be sharp enough. Oh, there it goes. And then we do that. And we're gonna go ahead and split the vanilla bean. And then you take the back side of the knife and you drag it across the vanilla bean, grabbing all of that vanilla seed. It kind of looks like caviar.
It smells good.
And it smells really, really good. The other thing is, don't throw away your vanilla seed husks. You're going to want to dry these, and you can use a blender and make them into a vanilla powder for all sorts of other baking needs. The only other thing that I haven't thought about is how I'm going to put this somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a lot of noise. I'm going to take a little, there's no specific need for size, but what I'm just going to do is I'm going to drop that into there so I can have it stored. And I'm going to fast forward the rest of this video so you guys don't have to listen to me or watch me do all 5 of these vanilla pods. And then before I fast forward, it is important, so you want, for this particular recipe, we are doing 1 vanilla pod per gallon. So we're gonna do 5 vanilla pods altogether for this 5-gallon batch.
You're going for a Brad vibe?
Yeah, I'm going for a Brad vibe. We had a little bit of technical difficulty.
I broke the camera.
We have a new camera system gimbal thing, and that went straight to hell. This is what we're looking like. It doesn't look like a lot, but if you were here, you'd be able to smell, or whenever you cut your own open, it's a very, very intense vanilla smell.
Makes me wonder why people like chocolate. It
yeah,
smells so good.
This stuff smells so good. This is our first time working with vanilla, so like I said, if we're just screwing anything up, feel free to tell us. We try and use what we can of the most organic, locally sourced. I mean, obviously Madagascar is not locally sourced, but we try and use the freshest ingredients that we can at least get our hands on. I do trust Costco, not a paid advertisement. So I just go ahead and I dump this directly. I have personally considered whether I'm going to throw these in or not. I'm going to ask my wife now, should we throw these in or should we dry these?
No, just try. They'll be awesome.
Then we're going to dry these. I'm going to go ahead and throw those vanilla beans into a storage unit. So I'm going to throw this in the fridge until we've got a few more of these. I think we're going to do a couple of different vanilla recipes in the next couple of days so that we can use all of the, that is the wrong lid, as you have all probably ran into that same organization of you can't ever find the right lid for the right Tupperware. All right, so in here, I'm going to grab some sort of implement, and we are going to stir this around. Try and break those up. Okay. Now, we are going to put in the lavender. This is going to be a quick and simple recipe. We're just going to have 2 different ingredients in here. You take, this is going to call for about 5 teaspoons of lavender flowers.
Tablespoons.
Tablespoons of lavender flower. I'm going to maybe a little bit. That's why you always do it over here. So a little bit extra is never going to hurt anybody. There we go.
That smells like something they would spray to soothe you and have you go to sleep.
I could read out of the kombucha handbook for flavoring and what they say, but I'm pretty sure it comes along the lines of this is lavender and along with what, chamomile or one of those like calming potions in the old days.
Will those lavender flowers, leaves, petals, whatever, eventually start to sink as things ferment?
They will actually start to sink as they just kind of like soak up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I stir it around, is to kind of get it down to the bottom there.
They look like they're still floating.
I mean, they are right now. Okay. And last thing I'm going to do is I've sprayed down and sanitized all of this stuff, so we're just going to place this guy on top. I'm moving over to a stainless steel version of this, but for right now, what we have is plastic. It works. It's just not my favorite thing to work with because this lid sucks. Like, there's no question. I have the popper. I've got everything, but we're moving over to a stainless steel version of this so that there's a lot less finagling with this lid. I'm going to let this sit for probably a day or 2. We'll sample a couple times in the medium just to see where we are, if we got to add a little bit more vanilla or if we've got to, play around and see where the flavor hits. But for the most part, we just stick this in a dark cabinet at the moment while we're not in the brewery. And just as a thing, we're looking, currently we're in progress of moving all of our operations over to a commercial area where we are legally allowed to sell this, but everything that we're videoing right now is just in my home, and none of this is being sold or sent out. This is purely for personal consumption and for our friends. Other than that, thank you for joining us on Pooch Pooch Kombucha. We have dogs around here somewhere.
No dogs are going to be allowed in the brewery.
No dogs will be allowed in the brewery, but here, dogs are all welcome. I mean, even though it's Pooch Pooch, we are aiming to try and get an outside area so they at least can come to the outside of the brewery. But thank you for joining, and we will see you later. Thank you.
Talon, sit. Oh, good job.